Now it's time for Fantasy Fanatics.
Welcome into Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And we were off last week because it was Independence Day, so we had a very good reason to be off. But, we're back at it this week, and there's been a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports.
Happy birthday, America.
Yes.
But yes,
Start a new career in 1 year.
Thank you, Mr. Hood. Back to sports. As you said, a lot of things have happened since we were gone.
Yep.
Congratulations to LeBron James going back home.
Yeah.
We don't usually talk about basketball, but...
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about it more later on in the show in one of our last segments, but it's pretty crazy that he's coming back.
I'm actually going to watch basketball now.
It definitely makes it more exciting. I like him a lot more as a person now for doing that.
I'm willing to wear his jersey now. I mean, I'm not a bandwagoner, but I liked him a lot more when he was playing for the Cavs and he's fighting for his hometown.
Yeah, so did I. Hopefully.
But he called the experience, the 4 years he had in Miami, like he said, it was like a kid going to college. He felt like that was his sort of getting away from home and doing what he had to do to learn and be the man he is today.
Right.
So I respect him for that.
Yeah, and of course, this first hour of the show, normally we talk about football, but of course there's not a whole lot going on in the fantasy football world and in the football world in general because training camps start, I believe, next week is when, I know the Bears have their open practices next week, I think in Bourbonnais.
Then regretfully we'll be going over injuries because those will be occurring. Yeah,
then we'll be going over a lot more injuries for sure. But in the meantime, until then, we just have a smaller football section of the show. But there's a couple stories that we wanted to talk about. One is this story that was printed out by the NFL.com website. Packers won't retire Brett Favre's jersey in 2014. So... this is by Chris Wesseling. Back in April, team president Mark Murphy revealed that the long-awaited reunion between Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers would have occurred in 2013 if not for the former quarterback's commitment to coaching Oak Grove High School's football program. Although Murphy isn't ruling out a Lambeau Field appearance from Favre this season, the Packers have no plans to retire the three-time MVP's jersey in 2014. Does that seem kind of surprising to you that, I understand they'll probably retire it at some time, at least at some point. But, I mean, he's been away from football for, 4 or 5 full seasons. So it's a little surprising that they're not going to retire his jersey, at least yet.
I thought it was 3, but...
Yeah, it might only be 3. But.
I guess the Cheeseheads can hold the grudge.
Yeah, exactly, because then, he went to the Jets, and then he went to a NFC North rival when he went to the Vikings, which was very surprising.
He can, at that point, being a season away from the Packers, he can go wherever he wants. The Packers should have waited till he was ready to retire.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, they wouldn't have won the 2010 Super Bowl if they did.
Right. So why is there a delay, he says? Murphy suggested a negative crowd reaction remains a factor, which is what we were saying. That is an issue, Murphy said, per ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wild. He doesn't want it, and neither do we. He wouldn't want to come back and get booed. You can't control 80,000 people. I think as time goes on, every year that passes, it's less likely that he would get booed, but that is an issue. So, yeah, I'm not so sure if he'd actually get booed if he came back. He did a lot of great things for the Packers. He did win a Super Bowl there. So he's got that, and he went to 2 straight Super Bowls, won one, lost one. But it's sort of like I understand that he sort of spurned Green Bay and went to New York and everything, and he wanted to retire a Packer. He always said he was going to retire a Packer, and then he didn't. But I'm not sure if there'll be that many boos for that.
I don't know what to expect. I don't know. It's been such a long time since he's been in Green Bay. Why even care? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You have a successful quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Get over it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Aaron Rodgers was under Brett Favre. He learned, so much from Brett Favre. That's probably a big reason why he's really good today, Aaron Rodgers, because he's learned so much from Favre. But Favre's good friend and former Packers kicker Ryan Longwell was booed upon signing a ceremonial one-year contract at Lambeau last season. Per Wild, it was leaving Green Bay for Minnesota and joking that the Twin Cities have more restaurant options. Former Packers tight end Mark Churma, another friend of Favre's, confirmed on his radio show last month that Favre was indeed reluctant to return for fear of getting booed. It shouldn't be much longer until the hard feelings toward Favre fade away. He has conceded that he was at fault for the bad blood that developed in the aftermath of his controversial breakup with the organization. Aaron Rodgers also has called on the team to retire Favre's number and welcome the legend back into the Packers family. If it doesn't happen this season, Favre will likely have a bust in Canton before his number is retired in Green Bay. So it's saying he'll be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame before he'll be in the Packers Hall of Fame.
A bust is a statue with the top of their torso all the way to the top of their head. That's what a bust is.
And I know you also had some information on Maurice Jones-Drew, Andrew.
Yes, Maurice Jones-Drew was reported saying that he believes there should be a full-time NFL football team in London.
Wow.
Thoughts?
I don't really like the idea of having a football team in all the way in England because you'd have only 8 home games there. And, they're like, 6 hours ahead of us, something like that. So,
and what if they had an away game in Oakland?
Yeah, those fans would have to wait like a whole day almost.
That's a 12-hour flight to Oakland Raiders. Then you're going to be jet lagged.
That could really screw up your internal clock and everything.
And then you're going to have to hear, now the London Jaguars suck because of jet lag, not because, I don't want to hear the excuses.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I understand having a couple games there, maybe.
I understand moving the Bills to Toronto more than moving a team over to London.
Oh, yeah.
How about move a team to Los Angeles? They've been waiting for a football team for how long?
Yeah, well, they had the Los Angeles Rams, and they moved from Los Angeles to St. Louis.
Yeah.
But
they care less about hockey than they do about football.
Oh, yeah,
they have a hockey
for sure.
Come on, just move Jacksonville over to L.A.
Yeah, or you could have a professional sports team in Las Vegas or something. There's a lot of options.
Las Vegas has an amazing arena bowl, arena football. And one of them is partly owned by a KISS member, and their stadium and their all-around energy is amazing. You should check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I know that they do that. It's like an arena football league, right?
They have girls in cages and
Los Angeles Kiss or something.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah, I think I've seen a photo of that field. It looks pretty cool. So that would be interesting. And that Maurice Jones-Drew maybe sort of wants to go out of Jacksonville and
he's an Oakland Raider now.
Oh, that's right. He is an Oakland Raider
traded.
Now. That's right. Yeah, Jacksonville is pretty much. That's one of the worst places you could put a football team. Probably. I don't know how many people really care about the Jaguars.
When you could put Tim Tebow in the quarterback position and still play just about as good as you are now, I'd say there's an issue.
Yeah, I agree with that. So let's move on here to this article. This is by the same guy, Chris Wessling. Andre Johnson reportedly will not be traded by the Texans, because I know that there was a lot of talk that they would be trading him, but Texans are in it to win it, I guess. Although 4 teams have expressed interest in dealing for Andre Johnson, around the league has maintained that a trade involving the disgruntled wide receiver is highly unlikely. In fact, NFL media insider Ian Rappaport reported the Texans have been unwilling to trade the 11-year veteran. The Houston Chronicle's John McClain went a step further on Friday, stating flat out that Johnson will not be traded. In fact, McClain guaranteed via a video posted on the Chronicle's website that Johnson will be playing for the Texans in Week 1 versus the Redskins. The Texans realize this is just a move per McClain, and there is no hard feelings towards their franchise icon. But the organization also firmly believes that they are better off with Johnson on the roster and that they are determined to see him finish his career in a Houston uniform. From a financial perspective, they don't want to hand over Johnson's $1 million workout bonus or guarantee his 2015 salary for fear of setting a precedent to be used by J.J. Watt's agent in the future. Unless Johnson's legitimately willing to remove football from his life, as Carson Palmer did with the Bengals in 2011, he lacks any semblance of leverage. The 33-year-old will be walking away not only from $10 million, but also the opportunity to solidify his Hall of Fame resume on the heels of back-to-back Pro Bowl seasons. In other words, fans of the Patriots, Browns, and Panthers shouldn't count on seeing him in one of the game's premier wideouts in their team's uniforms this summer. So it looks like Andre Johnson is going to stay a Texan, possibly retiring is in his future. But
and he's voiced that he wants to get traded.
Yeah, he has voiced that.
I mean, do you really want to put a guy on the field that's not playing 100% for you?
I wouldn't.
I disagree with that.
I mean, especially in football. I mean, I understand in basketball how maybe everyone's not playing 100%, but in football, everyone's playing 100% all 16 games. So
you know what Andre
you have to make
Johnson
sure you have
should
that.
do? You know what he should do?
What's that?
He should visit T.O. Terrell Owens. And
Take a visit to Terrell Owens' place.
Hey, man, what should I do? And then Terrell Owens would be like, all right, here's what you do. You start crying and then say just horrible things about everybody on your team so everyone hates you.
Right.
I mean, Terrell Owens, you just take a chapter out of his book. If you want to get traded, that's what you do.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny if he actually went over there and did that.
Hey, what's up, Terrell?
I need some advice, Terrell. I need some advice on what I should do.
You need a reality show, bro. You need a reality show? That's what's up.
Yeah, so we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about Matt Forte as he looks to build onto his success of last season and a few seasons before that as well. And then we'll get into some baseball. We have some news on our fantasy league. We'll tell you how everyone's doing in that.
Horrible.
And we'll talk about some other stuff too. So stick around to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stupperidge.
Yo, I'm Freeman.
And we have another article here about football. This is going to be pretty much the extent of our football coverage. But, it's about...
hurry up, preseason.
I know, seriously, we got to get into this regular season stuff already. But this is about the Bears and Matt Forte. So this is Matt Forte looks to build on his success, and it says Matt Forte will head into training camp at Olivet Nazarene University in Bourbonnais, looking to build on one.
Good old number 87.
Is there a commercial
better half
playing?
of the waddle and
There you go.
This happens a lot.
There you go.
It's got to be on
lesson learned.
Play Q. Yes.
Don't put it. You can put it on manual.
Yeah.
Don't put it. Yeah.
Well, it can be on Q too, but manual is the best one to have it on.
Cool.
Anyway, I don't know who left it on auto DJ, but
Yay.
I never switched it, I guess. He's looking to build on one of the best seasons by a running back in Bears history. And, of course, Matt Forte tallied 1,339 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2013.
He was a beast. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball.
Yeah, he's really one of the best running backs.
I'm not sure how he's going to top last season, though, because that was a really good season.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It'll be tough to top the season he had last year, but I think he could do it probably. Last year, the former Tulane star ranked second in the NFL in rushing with 1,339 yards and third in yards from scrimmage with 1,933. Both are career highs and the most by any Bears player other than Hall of Famer Walter Payton. Forte rushed for 9 touchdowns in 2013, the most by a Bears player since Thomas Jones had 9 in 2005. I remember Thomas Jones. He's pretty good. Forte also caught 74 passes and 594 yards and 3 touchdowns. The 74 receptions are the most ever by a Bears running back, breaking his own record of 63 set in 2008. Forte rushed for over 100 yards in 4 of the last 5 games of the season, giving him 20 100-yard outings in his career, tying Gale Sayers for the second most in franchise history. Voted to the second Pro Bowl of his career, Forte became the first player in Bears history to top 1,000 yards as a rusher and 500 as a receiver in multiple seasons. He ranks second on the franchise's all-time rushing list with 6,666 yards. He's got 4 sixes there, 6,666, trailing only Walter Payton, who has 16,000. So he's got a little bit to go there. But much like the quarterback position with Jay Cutler, there will still be fierce competition for backup positions at running back in training camp. The candidates include Kadeem Carey, Sean Drawn. Wow,
yeah,
that's a cool name. Michael Ford, Jordan Lynch, and Sonorsi Perry. Of course, Jordan Lynch was the former Northern Illinois quarterback who got drafted by the Bears as part of the running back position. So, and when he was asked to name the favorite for the number 2 spot on the depth chart, Coach Mark Trestman said, "I don't know that there is right now. We've got a really good competition." The Bears selected Carey in the 4th round of this year's draft. He was very productive in 3 seasons at Arizona, where he became the school's all-time leading rusher at 4,239 yards, and rushing touchdowns, he had 48. The 5'9", 207-pounder was a consensus All-American selection each of his final 2 years. And in his first full season as a starter in 2012, Carey led the FBS in rushing with a school record 1,929 yards and 23 touchdowns on 303 carries. And Mark Trestman says, "We got ourselves a heck of a football player. He loves football. He's passionate about it. He's tough. He's been extremely productive. He's all-purpose. We view him as a 3-down back who can play in any situation and run routes out of the backfield and certainly run inside and outside. So we're excited about him." A star quarterback in Northern Illinois, Lynch is battling for a job at running back with the Bears. Lynch passed for 3,138 yards and 25 touchdowns in 2012. Carrying the ball is nothing new for Lynch, however. At NIU, he rushed for over 1,000 yards, almost 2,000 yards actually, and had 19 touchdowns in 2012 and 23 touchdowns in 2013. Last season, Lynch broke his own FBS record for quarterbacks by rushing for 321 yards in a win over Western Michigan. "We have a logjam from 2 to 5, and Jordan is in that logjam," Trestman said. "A lot of that is going to be balanced off of what special teams and other aspects out of it. I'm looking forward to see him in pads and seeing these younger guys play in the games and competing both at the running back position and at the special teams side of it." So Matt Forte has some competition for the backups behind him, but obviously Matt Forte is the main guy, and he'll hopefully have a really good season this year like he has in the past. So
yeah, how about you make him competition for Cutler's position?
For starting position or backup?
Starting
position.
Yeah, you already got rid of your starting quarterback when you traded McCown.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like McCown. I mean, I like
13
McCown,
touchdowns,
but
1 interception, completion rate of 66.5%.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like him. It's just I'm not so sure that he's he's with Tampa Bay now. He's going to be the starter for Tampa Bay. I'm just not sure that he's going to be the main guy.
McCown got ranked 3rd for quarterback rating this last season.
Yeah, I know, but he also had a pretty good team. And a pretty good offensive team with the Bears.
Yes.
He could throw to Marshall, Jeffrey, and
Cutler was ranked 13th, and he had that same exact team.
I know. I think something happened when Jay Cutler got injured. When Josh McCown came in, it's just sort of. I mean, he just sort of fit in really well with the team, and I guess maybe the offense was helping him out a little bit, making him seem like a better quarterback than he actually was. I think that's sort of what the case is.
With Marshall's and Cutler's relationship, I don't know about that.
Well, that's true. That's his favorite
I just
target,
think Cutler isn't good with the whole quarterback view. All he looks at is Marshall, and so when McCown is like using Alshon Jeffrey's talents, Alshon Jeffrey was a better wide or got more passes than Marshall did.
Yeah, that's true.
And he blew up fantasy-wise when McCown took over. And Martellus Bennett even got some. Martellus Bennett is undervalued because he isn't used.
Right. Yeah, that's also a good point because Jay Cutler, I mean, he loved to throw to I mean, he used to throw to some other tight ends like the guy that's on the Panthers now. His name's escaping me.
Escapes me too.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was really good. But then when Martellus Bennett came around, I mean, he never really threw to him. He had that game-winning touchdown like week 2 against the Vikings, but that's about it. I mean, he didn't really score a whole lot of touchdowns after that. But yeah, he's definitely doing pretty well as far as Josh McCown goes, I think. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't really have a good team. So I'm not quite sure how McCown's going to do with them. And then also having Lovie Smith as your coach, I don't know how good that is.
We'll find out this next season.
Yeah, we'll find out. And especially
if Tampa Bay outperforms Chicago, who has the wide receiver duo.
I don't think that
they have the running back. I mean, Tampa Bay has Doug Martin.
Yeah, that's true.
Tampa Bay has some good wide receivers. Mm-hmm. That haven't had a good quarterback in a while. Yeah.
I just think that it's definitely going to be kind of interesting to see what happens.
Josh Freeman has been ranked in the top 10. I believe 2 years ago he was ranked in top 10 for quarterback rating.
Yeah, I think
Jay
he was.
Cutler has never been in the top 10 for Jeff Garcia has been in top 10 for quarterback rating.
You can't really take quarterback ratings too seriously like that, though. I mean, I understand that, but I mean, Jay Cutler's a way better quarterback than all these
I'm looking
guys.
at quarterbacks that have played full seasons, and Cutler he got 12th back in 2007.
Yeah,
2007. He has not. He's been in the 20s and he's been in the teens, but he's never gone top 10. Tony Romo's been in the top 10 3 times. Something like that. Jay Cutler never. 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I just don't get it.
We're going to do an update, come back, and talk a little bit about our fantasy football league and how you can join. But now Andrew Freeman is doing an update. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. We finally got some of our music back.
Yes.
Whereas Andrew was able to maneuver his way around and get this working for us. So thank you.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
You can call me the engineer.
So our sound engineer, Andrew, got it going. Because we didn't have our music in here for a while. But
the folders were compromised.
Yeah, but we got it working, so that's good. And I'm on manual now, so hopefully no commercial will play after the song. Before we go to our second break, we would like to remind you that we have a fantasy football team, or a fantasy football league coming up for this season. Our live draft, which we'll do right here on SportsTownChicago.com, is going to be August 1st, around 2 p.m., 2:15 p.m. So we'll have that going for us, and
if our fantasy for football is anything like baseball, it is competitive.
Yeah, it is.
There's only one team in our baseball that's doing really bad. They're like 4-10.
Yeah. Did he stop checking or
62-0? No, he keeps checking. He just really is not doing good.
Okay.
Like I just picked up J.D. Martinez.
That's a good pickup, by the way.
Where was he on that one? I mean, he could have picked that up.
Could have got him a while ago. But
he just likes to sit with his team and wait, and I think he's waited past that point.
Yeah, it seems like it. But anyway, we have, I think, maybe 3 teams in the league right now. Me, Andrew, and who's the other person that's in the league?
That's Wendy, or on here, it's Watch Out.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So he's in the league, and then we'll have some other people. I know my brother will join, I'm sure, and we'll probably get some other people to join, too. So, yeah, that's going to be Friday, August 1st.
Yes. It's going to be a competitive league. We're looking for people to join.
Yeah, and if you want to join, you can tweet at us directly at Ryan Stuppridge.
Or at Freeman Radio.
And you can also, or you can message us on Facebook or something, to let us know you're interested in joining. And we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll start to talk about baseball. we're going to tell you about some of the free agents in our league that are available, and some of the people that are doing good anyway.
And we also, later on, have some big-time injuries we want to talk about, so you stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay with us.
Stay tuned to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com.
I'm taking over my body, back in control, no more shoddy. I bet a lot of me was lost, teasing, crossing eyes and dotted. I thought it a lot, and it seems a lot like flesh is all I got. Not anymore. Flesh out the door.
Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman with funky DJ beats, super rich.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the dust.
Great song.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, everybody likes Queen.
I would hope so.
They're one of the best bands ever.
Ever?
Yes, ever.
Right up there with the Beatles.
Yep.
And that one band.
Yeah. So, real quick before we tell you about some of the free agents in our fantasy league, why don't you tell us how our scores in our fantasy league are going right now?
Yeah. Fade out the music and I'll do that. Scores.
Scores in fantasy baseball.
I'm going to say it like one of those wrestling announcers.
Okay.
Get down with the Kipnis. It's going way down on Goldschmidt yourself. He's beaten Goldschmidt till Goldschmidt's bloody with a score of 234 to Goldschmidt's 169. Saying it's a brotherly love battle fest to the death as Ryan's rolling is beating his brother senseless 235 to 217.
Yeah, that's a pretty close one, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
Nashville Conquerors is conquering 162-0 as he has a score of 241.5 to the dismal score of 206.5. I Like Stanton Girls needs to stop liking the girls and start liking fantasy baseball because he's down 20 to watch out. Coco and Company is beating Shinner's squad with their own shins. 221 to 172.5. By the end of the week, I'm going to guess that Company is going to be beating him by 100 points.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And those are your scores.
All right, well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And, let's, of course, there's a game on in about 15, 20 minutes.
Atlanta versus our Chicago Cubs.
Yep. The Cubs usually have those Friday afternoon games, so yeah.
And Manny, what is it? Manny, that dude from L.A., the Dodger guy, who's now like our batting coach.
Manny Ramirez is now with the Iowa Cubs, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, day games are killing the Cubs. That's why the Cubs lose so much.
Yeah, well,
thanks.
I mean, it might have something. I mean, it is kind of tough when you have a night game and then a day game the next day like that, but I don't know. I wouldn't look too much into stuff like that.
It is
Manny Ramirez. I mean, it is Manny Ramirez who's saying that, so. But
he's a genius.
Yeah, sure. So let's look at some of the free agents that are available. Dallas Keuchel, or Keuchel. I think it's pronounced Keuchel.
I don't know. I say Keuchel. He just got dropped like yesterday.
Yeah, there's a waiver on him until Saturday.
Every week someone's dropping him because he wins one, then he loses one, then he wins one. So right now it goes like when he wins one, someone picks him up, and then he loses one, and then he gets dropped. So just keep him for 2 to 3 weeks, and you might get something out of him.
Yeah, you might be okay then. I don't know.
He's not a bad pitcher.
No, he's not a bad pitcher at all. In fact, is he in the All-Star game? Or was he on the ballot? I think he was on the ballot with Chris Sale, maybe.
I'm unsure about these things.
And the other pitcher who's doing very well, Jose Quintana, he's definitely done really well the last month or so. He's really been pretty good.
Look at his month.
He has 107 strikeouts this year, which is the most out of anyone that I can find on this list, except for Jake Odorizzi.
Last 30 days, he's gone 2 for 1 with 44 strikeouts, 10 walks, and 12 errors. Not bad at all.
Yeah, no, he's doing pretty good. And there's also a relief pitcher if anyone's interested.
Brad
in that.
Boxberger? Our
No.
boy Boxberger?
Dylan Betances, he's the Yankees relief pitcher. Yeah, he's doing well. Mike Leake, another option. Mike Leake's having a pretty good year. He's 7-7. He's thrown 11 quality starts, so that's good. Has 95 strikeouts, 46 earned runs. So yeah, he's doing a pretty good job too.
Let's see.
If you're looking for somebody on the Atlanta Braves, because the Cubs are in town, Aaron Harang, he's had a pretty good year so far. He's 9-6.
Atlanta has not done that well this year. They're finding ways to win, but I don't think they have a team that can go all the way.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if they have a team. I mean, I think by the end of it, I think Washington will beat them out and go to the playoffs over Atlanta.
Because Washington's turned it around, and they're very good.
Now that Harper and Zimmerman are both back,
Yeah.
I mean, you have a starting staff of Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, Jordan Zimmerman, Tanner Roark.
And Gio has been,
yeah.
Gio's a great pitcher, but he's sort of been a surprise this season.
Right.
Because he wasn't doing all that great, and now he's doing really good.
Yeah. Like a lot of it has to do with team chemistry. If one of your pitchers is doing good, the other ones will follow, and then everyone starts playing good, and that's how you sort of build a team that goes to the playoffs. Jason Vargas is on the 15-day DL, but he is available.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was having an okay year. Jonathan Neese is also on the DL. But Charlie Morton on Pittsburgh is another good option if you need a pitcher in our league.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, he does have 9 losses, but I think he's turned it around lately. I believe he's had some good starts his last few times out.
All right, if you're sure, then...
There's just a couple other people on here, too, we can go over. A.J. Burnett is available. I don't know if I'd pick him up. He wouldn't be my first choice, obviously. I mean, obviously, my first choice would either be Jose Quintana or Dallas Keuchel, because they're both up there.
Yeah, Dallas Keuchel's 9-5 with 87 strikeouts, which is a little lower than you'd want, but...
9 wins for your Houston guy, too. So
yeah,
that's,
he has
that's
41 errors, which is pretty average.
Mm-hmm.
Only 28 walks, though, so he doesn't walk too many people.
No, yeah, he doesn't, so he's doing a good job. Mike Leake's another one who has low walks. He's given up 24 walks.
Here's an interesting stat. Dallas Keuchel, as I call him, he might be Keuchel.
I'm not sure how
I'll
it's
say
pronounced.
Keuchel. He has 3 complete games.
Wow.
That's more than anyone on this list.
Yes, it is. No one else on this list has more than one, I
and
believe.
he has 1 shutout, so that is your number 1 pick at pitcher at this
so
moment.
if you can hold out till tomorrow,
Yeah.
definitely try to get Dallas. Otherwise, Jose Quintana is a good choice. He pitched well in Boston a few days ago. Yeah, so those are a couple of those guys. And now, moving on to the hitters in our league. The number 1 free agent in our league is Marlon Byrd.
He's been up there for a while. I just don't think you can pick him up. I don't see him as someone you'd want to pick up.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in our league really has picked him up, have they?
There's no interest. He's 38 years old or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah. As I'm looking down on this list, I see a good option for first base, and this is somebody that I have in my other fantasy league that I'm in. But this is and that would be Washington's first baseman,
Adam LaRoche. Yeah, he's got some power, man.
Yeah, he's a good option. He has 12 home runs. He was injured for like almost a month, so he still has 12 home runs, which is pretty good.
Behind.
Yeah, he's definitely doing pretty good. He's only grounded into 5 double plays, which is always good.
Yeah.
Same with Marlon Byrd and Nick Markakis.
He's batting .289, and that's good. You want to be around that, 280, 300.
And he's right in the middle of that good Nationals lineup with Ryan Zimmerman and Bryce Harper and everything. So, and Jason Worth. So it's obviously a good thing. So if you're in need of a first baseman spot, maybe your first baseman hurt, is hurt or whatever, I definitely think about getting Adam LaRoche, especially over the other first base option, Casey McGee.
There's another guy I've been spying on, and I have Hunter Pence, so I don't need a right fielder, but Alex Rios with Texas Rangers.
Yeah, man, he has
right
a high
fielder.
batting average, doesn't he?
He's like 309 or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like 30. He's batting 300, 400 runs, or not 400 runs, 40 runs. He's not a power guy, 4 home runs and 39 RBIs. He will get you runs, and he'll get you steals. He has 14 stolen bases. He's on a point tear, as I can see. Let's see, he went for 14 points, 11 points, 10 points, double digits for 3 days in a row.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously that's very good.
Yeah, so I would say Alex Rios is, if you're looking for a right fielder, Alex Rios, no doubt.
I also see Billy Hamilton on this list. I'm not a big fan of Billy of him. I mean,
he's been. I mean, there's so many center fielder options, but he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, he scores a lot of runs, but he doesn't do a whole lot else for you. I mean, stolen bases, sure, but in fact, he has 37 stolen bases, which is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, right now.
I mean, he's on pace for like over 60 stolen bases here.
Right now, on our available players, Billy Hamilton's number 1 for the month. 38 out of 115. He had 11 doubles,
Wow.
3 triples, 3 home runs, 24 RBIs on the month of June.
3 home runs and 3 triples.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
He got 228 points last month. So, yeah, I would ride that. I'd ride that wave until it dies.
I would too. Yeah, there's a couple other people on this list, like Michael Morse has just gotten out of a slump. I know he was in a big, huge
he's not
slump.
in the last 30 days. He's not even top 20 that I can see.
Mm-hmm. There's some other center field options, Denard Span, but I think Billy Hamilton's probably a better bet than that.
Yeah, he is. Denard Span, once again, not even in the top 30 of the last month.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Howard was hot of late. I think he's back into a slump, though. He's just a guy I would never want, really, as my starting
Yeah, he's a
first baseman.
strikeout king.
Strikeout king. He grounds into countless double plays,
Yeah.
from what I can remember. So, he's definitely not a good option.
Marcell Ozuna is another center fielder that's been on a hot streak this last month.
Yeah, and it says here he can play left, right, and center.
Yeah. So if you're looking up for a multiple option kind of guy, he plays all the field positions.
Yeah, or you could just have him on your bench, and if somebody has like an off day or something, you could put Marcell Ozuna in there.
There's Drew Stubbs, but don't even look at that. He usually has one hot month per season, and this is the one. Do not touch.
That's true.
Lorenzo Cain, you can ignore him too.
Yeah. Another guy closer to home, Dion Viciedo. He's been doing good lately, but again, I mean, you pretty much only would
The only
want him
thing that
because
sort
so you can
of
root for him.
is like making me not want him is the 24 strikeouts he's had.
Yeah.
He's had 22 hits, but he's had 24 strikeouts. He's got more strikeouts than he does hits.
Yeah, so that's not a good thing either. Connor Gillespie, as we talked about a little earlier, he's been really hot lately. He's a third baseman, so maybe your third baseman's hurt, something like that. Connor Gillespie, because I know my third baseman David Wright was hurt last week and and a little bit the week before that.
He's kind of on a hot streak right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
Last 3 days, 23 points, 18 points, 16 points, batting .323 for this season. Not a power hitter, but he's getting it done.
Well, he has power of late. He wasn't hitting home runs earlier. He's homered in like 3 straight games.
3 straight games. Yeah, you're right. Looking at this, 3 straight games with home runs.
And he has 4 as total. So I mean, you know, he's really been swinging the bat good now. But yeah, because I had Aramis Ramirez that I had replacing David Wright, but I should have went with Connor Gillespie because I could have gotten some of his. Because I could have gotten some of his good stats that he's having.
Aramis Ramirez is hot, though. The last 30 days, he has 180 points.
Yeah, and then, of course, right when I picked him up, he went cold.
He's batting .282 with 11 home runs, 41 RBIs. He's been batting cold. Yeah, I'm looking at his last 20 games on here. He is all in the single digits. So he's kind of in a cold streak.
Yeah, he is. And when we come back from break, we're going to tell you a little bit, because I printed out the full standings in our league, just sort of, because we're about halfway through, a little more than halfway through.
All-Star break is half.
Yeah, so we're about halfway through, so I was just going to go through some of the stats of our teams. It's kind of small print, but I'll try to read it, and Andrew can pull it up on his thing too. So we'll take a look at that. But for now, you're listening to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. We'll be back with an update and more of the show.
Down the street, went out the corner of my eye, saw a pretty little thing approaching me. She said, I never seen a man who looks so all alone. Could you use a little company?
Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And what we were going to do right now, since we're halfway through the season, as the All-Star game will be Tuesday night, we're going to go over just a couple stats. We're not going to take a long time doing this, but just a couple stats in our league, in our fantasy league, just tell you sort of how everything is going. Of course, the standings right now, I am one game ahead of I'm one game ahead of Andrew, which is Goldschmidt yourself, and I like Staten Island Girls, which is Mike Pendleton.
Fade the music, DJ.
So we will go over that right now. We've got, let's see here. So taking a look at my team, Ryan's rolling. I have 370 runs scored, which is not a whole lot when you're looking at the rest of the league. I'm somewhere in the middle. Leading this category is you, Andrew.
Indeed.
With 439, so yeah,
yes.
You're leading that currently.
I wish I got more points for that.
Right, yeah. I feel like if you're leading a category, you get extra points, maybe.
Yeah, what's up?
Let's look at doubles. I have 157. Andrew has 156. We're pretty close in that.
Leading that is Nashville Conquerors with 173.
He's got some good doubles hitters on his team.
Yeah, he's coming back, though.
Leading triples is
Nashville Conquerors
also Nashville
once again, yeah.
He's got some good hitters on his
25.
team. I guess his pitching is what's bringing him down.
His home run numbers are a little low, but so are mine. He has 86. I have 88. And
I have 82.
Stanton is leading that with 126 home runs.
And I have 82. So I mean, all of us are pretty close. RBIs, I have 336. Andrew has 330. Yeah, I mean, we're close in like every category here.
Yeah.
Leading is I Like Staten Island Girls with 416.
Yeah. Well, you get a lot of home runs, you're going to get a lot of RBIs.
Yeah.
That's
Strikeouts,
science.
I have 565. Andrew has 531.
That's right.
So I'm somewhere in the middle with that too. About stolen bases, I have 47.
I
have 90, which is a big difference from 47.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference from everyone else in the league, pretty much. So that's something you can hold on to
close
there.
Person is 68. Nashville Conquerors.
Yeah. Grand slams. I have 3 grand slams. Andrew has 1. I'm tied for the league lead with I Like Staten Island Girls.
And watch out.
Oh yes, he has. Yes, he also has 3. Pitching categories, earned runs. I've given up 375 earned runs, which is a lot more than you, who's only given up 216.
Also leading in innings by almost 400. So
yeah, I'm leading in innings by a lot. Me and Coco and company are in the thousands for innings pitched. Strikeouts, I have 970 strikeouts, which is in the lead.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and I have 74 wins, which is more than a lot of people as well. And, I mean, we can just look at, let's see, what's another...
Except I'm beating you in complete games, shutouts.
You are beating me in that, yes. You have 7 compared to 4. Of course, 162-0 got the no-hitter. I believe that was Kershaw's, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't think he has Josh Beckett, so I'm assuming that was Kershaw's. That's about it for that. We just wanted to sort of recap that and let people know what's going on.
Your radio hosts are doing well, don't worry.
Yeah, we're both doing well. We're first and second place, so... It's going good.
I'm going to lose this week, it looks like, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, I hope not, because I kind of want, to keep the...
It's 169.5 to 234. He had a 70-point game, and I got destroyed because Tim Hudson doesn't know how to pitch anymore.
We do have some news about Anthony Rizzo and Chris Sale when they won the final vote. So this article is from SportsIllustrated.com. It says, Rizzo and Sale win final vote as Molina and Tanaka injuries shake up rosters, which certainly do. And it says, the White Sox Chris Sale and Cubs Anthony Rizzo were named the final members of the All-Star rosters after emerging as the winners of the final vote campaign. Rizzo picked up 8.8 million votes. I was part of that, and I'm sure Andrew was too. I don't
Nope.
know. You didn't vote at all?
Not at all.
Oh, Andrew, you have to vote.
No, I don't.
Well, then I guess you're pretty lucky that he won.
Because
if he lost by one vote, it would have been all your fault.
It's true.
Which
So
the possibilities of that are not even close to being possible.
Another
but
2 million people that didn't vote.
yeah. And Sale notched 6.7 million votes, sending two very worthy players to Minneapolis. So Chicago did good there. We were voting pretty well, so congrats to all of you.
We are the third biggest city in our country, just saying.
Yeah.
Sale essentially led the AL vote from wire to wire, an honor he deserved after the first half he posted. And, of course, in 14 starts covering 95 innings, Chris Sale is 8-1 with a 2.08 ERA, 2.45 or a .84 WHIP, and 102 strikeouts versus 16 walks. 16 walks. I mean, he's only issued 16 walks. That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Garrett Richards of the Angels came in second with Rick Porcello, Corey Kluber, and Dallas Keuchel rounding out the AL votes. So, yes, he was on that AL ballot. I thought he was. While Rizzo got most of the votes, he had a much tougher fight in the NL. He had to overcome Justin Morneau late on Thursday and did so with the help of Cub fans who have frequent voting in their blood. Like Sale, Rizzo probably shouldn't have been in this position at all. Even after going 0-6 in the Cubs' 6-4 12-inning win over the Reds on Thursday, he's hitting .275 with 20 homers and 49 RBIs this year. Those 20 round trippers are second most in the NL, behind only Giancarlo Stanton. And then Justin Morneau's bounce-back season has been a great story all year, and it would have been fun to see him elected in the All-Star game in Minnesota.
He's at the Home Run Derby.
Yes, but he will be in the Home Run Derby, which is nice. And he deserves to do something because, he's going back to Minnesota, so hopefully he'll be doing good. And I guess I'll be rooting for him in the Home Run Derby. I don't really know who all the participants are, or we can find that out later. But the additions of Sale and Rizzo weren't the only roster shakeups this week, as injuries took their toll on the All-Star selections. With the Cardinals' Yadier Molina out for 8 to 12 weeks, that's a big loss for St. Louis.
Yeah, it is.
After tearing a ligament in his thumb, the Brewers' Jonathan Lucroy will get the nod in place of the guy. And Jonathan Lucroy was also very deserving of it, as he's hitting .323 with 9 homers and 44 RBIs for first-place Milwaukee. But Milwaukee's only, I think, he has a 2 or 3 game lead over St. Louis. So it's a 2-game lead. So if St. Louis was to sweep, they would be in first place.
Correct.
And that would be very devastating for Milwaukee, and devastating for me because I want Milwaukee to beat St. Louis. But according to Fangraphs' overall defensive rating, Lucroy ranks as the second-best defensive catcher in the NL, trailing only, of course, Yadier Molina. A replacement for Molina on the roster has yet to be named, although it seems Buster Posey is the obvious choice. Miguel Montero could also be an option. Posey has been a superior batting average, slugging percentage, and OPS, while Montero leads in on-base percentage, homers, and RBI. And, of course, Masahiro Tanaka's first All-Star Game appearance will have to wait, as his superlative first half it ended in disaster with the revelation of a partial tear of the ulnar collateral ligament in his pitching elbow. While doctors are not yet recommending surgery, Yankees general manager Brian Cashman did acknowledge that Tommy John surgery is a possibility if it does not get better with rehab. Red Sox closer Koji Uehara has already been named as Tanaka's replacement on the AL All-Star team, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how could you have Koji Uehara? He's not even having that good of a year. He's a closer for Boston. I mean, you don't really need any closers, maybe one from each league.
Yeah, and you should be picking the best one.
Right, and the best one in the AL is not Koji Uehara. I'm not sure off the top of my head exactly who it is, but it's not Koji Uehara. So I don't understand why that was the case, but it was. It's a little odd that the team wouldn't replace him with another starter, especially since the final vote was all starting pitchers, which is what we've been saying. For one, Garrett Richards seems like a particularly snub. He seems like a snub. He came in second in the final vote, and like Sale, was deserving of a spot. Even with the bloated rosters and injury replacements, there are still a handful of players in addition to Richards who are worthy of being in Minneapolis next week, but instead we'll get a brief vacation. Among them are Ian Kinsler, who's hitting .303, .339, .477 with 11 homers in his first season with the Tigers. Anthony Rendon, who's batting .284, he wasn't good enough for the inclusion on the NL team. The Reds' Billy Hamilton, who struggled to start the year, is now batting .281 with 37 steals. And the surprising Jose Quintana of the White Sox, who was done in by a 5-7 record, but has a 3.24 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, and 117 strikeouts over 120 innings. So, yeah, he's definitely been doing well, too. So, yeah, those are just some snubs at the end of there. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see all that, like everything that's going on. And before we go to break, we want to let you know that we're going to have an article about Masahiro Tanaka. So we'll have that, and we can talk a little more about that and how that's going to be kind of an interesting thing.
And later on, of course, we're going to have our pitching matchups.
Yes, and I tallied up the ones from a couple weeks ago, so we'll have all that. So stick around to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stufford.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And now we have an article from Masahiro Tanaka, and they're talking about Masahiro Tanaka and the new injury that he has, and that he possibly could have Tommy John surgery, which would not be good. He'd be another one of those people that have Tommy John surgery. Man, it's just it really sucks that all these pitchers are having Tommy John surgeries. There's been at least 20 or more this year, so yeah, it's not good. But this says Masahiro Tanaka could need Tommy John elbow surgery. The New York Yankees' fading playoff hopes took a huge hit Thursday when all-star pitcher Masahiro Tanaka was diagnosed with a small tear in his right elbow ligament that can end his season. And of course, this is kind of close to me, too, because I have him on my fantasy team. And, yeah, it would really suck if I didn't have him for the rest of the year. I mean, he was really good. He had 12 wins this year and everything. But Tanaka, the Yankees ace, will try to rehab his elbow during the next few weeks to see if he can avoid Tommy John surgery, which would keep him sidelined until 2016. That just sounds awful. Like, just to baseball fans everywhere, no one wants to see Masahiro Tanaka.
Tommy John's surgery now, you're going to miss not only like all of Nick's season,
right?
But
you miss like a year and a half, right?
That really, that is horrible.
Yeah. If surgery is not necessary, Tanaka will miss at least 6 weeks. Yankees GM Brian Cashman said, and realistically would not return until September. It'd be kind of good for the Yankees, though, if he came back in September. They can make maybe one last playoff push, see if they can make it there. Because without Masahiro Tanaka, this team will not go to the playoffs.
No, they don't have a farm league.
It's just not good enough.
Pay some money.
Yeah, and
some serious dough for an okay pitcher.
I mean, they don't have a good pitching staff at all besides Masahiro Tanaka.
Not really.
And they don't really have that good of an offense. I mean, Alfonso Soriano was doing so bad he got designated for assignment. Have you ever heard of a 38-year-old that was designated for assignment?
Absolutely not.
So, I mean, he's contemplating retirement. I know, but
please do. I mean,
yeah, seriously. I mean, the Cubs were happy to get rid of him when they did. I know they didn't really get anything in return for Soriano except cash, but you got something at least, and you got rid of Soriano, and now Soriano's not even playing. So yeah, hopefully no more than 6 weeks, Cashman told the reporters. Time will tell. It's a disappointing situation, and one that none of us wanted to be a part of or wanted to experience. Unfortunately, the facts are facts. We found out now, and we know what we're dealing with. Tanaka, the Yankees' $175 million free agent investment from Japan, had been dominating all this season, winning 12 games with a 2.51 ERA. He was 11-1 with a 1.91 ERA in his first 12 starts, but he has struggled of late. That could possibly be due to him struggling late could have a lot to do with this injury, probably. He complained about elbow soreness after being clobbered in his first start Monday against the Cleveland Indians, a game in which he allowed a season-high 10 hits and 5 runs, and visited the Yankees team physician on Thursday in Seattle. So he visited the physician, and several talent evaluators feared Tanaka was putting on extra stress on his arm with the amount of split fingers he throws. The Yankees, who fell 4 games behind Baltimore in the American League East, will have to scramble for pitching help. No matter who they get, you can't really replace Tanaka, who becomes the 4th pitcher from their opening day rotation to get injured. Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah, bad luck for the Yankees so far. And the Yankees, who have already traded for pitcher Brandon McCarthy of the Diamondbacks last week, say they will start to look again. We've been aggressive because now we've got 4 starters that we are planning to have in the rotation. Because of that, we have to be aggressive, and we will continue to be aggressive unless I'm told otherwise. We're in the middle of a division fight, and we want to stay in the fight. Yet this blow has the Yankees staggering against the ropes. So, I mean, I really feel for Masahiro Tanaka because that's really kind of sucks.
Yeah, man.
Let us now go over the games from 2 weeks ago, because last week was 4th of July. But Friday, June 27th, we had games to go over, and we'll tell you who won and lost those. So let me just write down my name here and Andrew's name. Okay. The game we start off with is Tampa Bay at Baltimore. That would be Odorizzi versus Tillman, and Andrew picked Odorizzi, or as he likes to say, over easy.
Over easy.
And I picked Tillman. Tillman did get the win.
Gosh damn it, Odorizzi.
So that's so I'm winning 1-0 there. Washington and Chicago. That was Tanner Roark versus Jason Hamill. I unfortunately did not go with my boy Hamill. I went with Roark, and Andrew went with Hamill, and Hamill got the win.
Traitor.
So tied 1-1 here.
Know where you're from.
We both got a win for this next game, Atlanta and Philadelphia. We both picked Tehran, and he was the winner. So,
well, I'm glad he won that week.
So yeah, exactly. So it's 2-2. Boston and New York, rivalry game there. Brandon Workman versus Eduardo Nuno, or I'm not sure what his first name is. So Andrew went with Workman, and unfortunately Workman got the loss, and Nuno got the win, who was the person I picked. So
for shame,
I'm up 3-2. Next game was a no decision, so that doesn't count. Next game, we both picked the pitcher wrong. We both picked R.A. Dickey over John Danks, but John Danks actually beat him, which is surprising.
That is surprising.
Next game, no decision. This game, Minnesota and Texas, we both got the win. We both picked Nick Tepesh, who got the win over Kevin Correa.
Yeah, Tepesh.
So the score is 4-3. I'm in the lead by 1. The next 2 were no decisions. The Angels in Kansas City. Andrew got a win for that. He picked Jason Vargas, who got the win, so it is tied now 4-4.
This is killing me.
And there's 4 games left here.
Oh, my.
We both picked losing pitcher for Arizona, San Diego, so no points. We both got a point here for Cleveland, Seattle. We both picked Chris Young to beat Trevor Bauer. So it is 5-5 now. And let's see, St. Louis and Los Angeles, we both picked that wrong. And unbelievable, Andrew wins by a point.
Yes! Yes!
It all came down to this night game between the Reds and the Giants. Johnny Cueto versus Madison Bumgarner. And
How would you not pick Cueto?
I picked Bumgarner.
How would you not pick
San Francisco
Cueto?
was home, I guess.
San Francisco has been horrible lately.
So yeah, well, this is from 2 weeks ago, but Cueto and Bumgarner, yeah, and I picked Bumgarner, and Bumgarner got the loss. So Andrew wins 6-5. So there we go for that. So yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you won. I mean, it came down in close fashion at least, so that's good.
You did.
Yeah. So now, before we go to break real quick, when we come, first Andrew's going to do an update, which I'll get that set up for him. And then after an update, we will go to break, and then we'll come back, and we will go over the pitching matchups for tonight. We'll do that as fast as we can, and we'll probably do some during this break. And then we will talk a little bit about the hometown breakdown. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA and more about Melo and LeBron James. So you got Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman, and that was the late, the great, the Harry Carey.
Yes, and now we're going to do some pitching matchups here for the game today.
Yeah, my favorite part of the show is the pitching matchups.
Yes, these are for the games today, and we're going to start off, and we know this game's going on already, but we had already picked the Braves and Cubs. Alex Wood versus Jake Arrieta. We're both going with Jake Arrieta.
You're my boy, Jake!
Yep, I love Jake Arrieta. He's been so good this last month and a half. So.
Already has 3 strikeouts with 2 innings down.
Nice. We have the White Sox and Indians. We got Hector Noesi, who has done really well of late, and Corey Kluber, who was a potential all-star, but he didn't win the ballot. Who are you going to go with?
I'm going with Klubes.
Okay, you'll go with Corey Kluber. I'm also going to go with Corey Kluber. He's on my fantasy team, too, so that doesn't hurt.
Just throwing that out there. 8-6 with a 2.86 ERA.
Yankees at Orioles. We got Hiroki Kuroda versus Miguel Gonzalez. Who do you think's going to win this game?
That's hard to say, man.
The Orioles are home, if that helps any.
They're kind of a push when it comes to like their ERAs and games won and everything. They're pretty much tied.
Yeah. I'm going with Miguel Gonzalez.
You're going with Baltimore? Is Baltimore at home?
Baltimore is, yes.
Yes.
Baltimore's at home.
I will agree with you.
All right. Nationals and Phillies, we both decided to go with Jordan Zimmerman over A.J. Burnett.
For sure.
Marlins and Mets, we had already picked that. We had a at least I'm going with Henderson Alvarez, and Andrew's going with Zach Wheeler.
Go Wheels.
Pirates at Reds, Jeff Locke versus Matt Latos. Who do you think is going to win this one? This is another tough one.
That is tough. Cincinnati's been on. They lost against the Cubs.
But they did win 4 before that against the Cubs.
Pittsburgh has been real hot, though.
They have.
I'm going to go with Locke.
Okay. I'm going to stick with Latos. Blue Jays and Rays. We got Mark Burley versus Chris Archer. I'm going to go with Chris Archer.
I'm going to go with Burley.
All right.
Burley.
On this whole page here, these 3 matches, we got each of us chose a different pitcher. So,
crazy.
Let me just make sure I got Yeah, okay, mark that down. Then we have the Angels at the Rangers. Garrett Richards versus Nick Tepesh. I went with Garrett Richards. And Andrew picked Nick Tepesh.
Yep.
Red Sox and Astros. We both chose Scott Feldman over John Lackey. That's in Houston, by the way.
Boston just is not good.
Yeah, they're really not.
They're really not good.
Well, that's the thing that happens in baseball a lot. After you win a World Series, you have pretty bad year a lot of times.
Yeah.
Where you don't, repeats never happen really in baseball and football. I mean, the only sport.
The New York Yankees, didn't they? Repeat?
They won 3 straight, 98, 99, 2000, something like that, and then, but I mean, in every sport besides basketball, it's pretty hard to repeat. In basketball, it's the easiest sport to repeat in. So we got the Detroit Tigers and Kansas City Royals. Anibal Sanchez versus Danny Duffy.
I'm going to go with Anibal.
You're going to go with Anibal Sanchez? I'm also going to go with Anibal Sanchez. St. Louis Cardinals and Milwaukee Brewers. We got Joe Kelly versus Giovanni Gallardo. The Brewers have been struggling lately.
Yeah, this is hard. Kelly is 1-for-1 with a .59 ERA. There is no 1 ahead of that. It's just .59.
Wow.
And they both just got decimated by the Phillies and the Pirates. Hard to say. I guess I'll go with Kelly.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Gallardo.
I could easily go with Gallardo, but I don't know. They both did really bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. Twins at Rockies. We both, I went with Chris Johnson, and Andrew's going with Jorge De La Rosa. We have Oakland at Seattle. Jeff Samardzija versus Felix Hernandez. That pitching matchup does not get any better.
That is correct.
Does not get any better than having King Felix go up against Samardzija.
Samardzija only has 3 wins, but now he's with one of the best teams. He went from one of the worst teams.
Yeah, he'll get about 15 by the
to one of the best teams, and Oakland always has the run support.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Samardzija, man.
You're going to go with Samardzija?
He's got a 2.74, and that's with the Cubs.
This could be the game of the night, no doubt. I mean, this is going to be such a good game.
What a huge matchup, man. I wish I had cable.
So, just for effect, I'm going to go with Felix Hernandez for a differencing of opinion.
I'm going to be tweeting about this game if it's on Watch ESPN.
Yeah, hopefully it is.
Because I'll watch it.
I'll be able to see highlights on MLB Network at least, I guess. But
we'll tweet about it.
Won't be able to watch the game, but yeah, I'll definitely try to keep up on it because this is going to be a really good game.
Oh, yeah.
Padres and Dodgers. That was Jesse Hahn versus Dan Herron. I went with Dan Herron. Andrew went with Jesse Hahn. And one final game for you that we'll pick, Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Francisco Giants. We got Mike Bolsinger versus Tim Lincecum.
Tim Lincecum.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with
Bolsinger's a 1-for-5 with a 5.13.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Tim Lincecum because, I mean, he's been really good of late, too. And, yeah, he had that.
The only good part about Arizona is Paul Goldschmidt. And if he doesn't hit a home run, Arizona doesn't score too much.
Yeah. Well, we've got a little bit of time here that we've left to discuss more in depth the LeBron move back to Cleveland. And as he posted on his Instagram page, he had a picture said, "I'm coming home." So it's definitely kind of an emotional thing for him, I think.
I would think so. It was hard for him to leave.
Yeah.
And it made it even harder when the backlash happened.
Right.
Which is why I think that's why he released it to SportsIllustrated.com instead of doing something with ESPN, because I think there's kind of bad blood there.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be taken quite well that he's coming back to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could still see some fans being upset that he left, but that they have to realize that he left because he wanted to win championships. I mean, he would never have been considered...
He also wanted to grow as a player.
Oh, yeah, he wanted to grow as a player, learn how to play in those type of situations. And then now that he's had that chance, coming back to Cleveland, he can really sort of carry that team and give them their first championship, because they don't have a championship. I mean,
LeBron came out. He didn't go to college. He went straight into the league.
Right. Yeah,
and he never had a chance to be mentored in the league because all the Cavs had was LeBron James.
Right.
So to go to one of the best places with Dwayne Wade, who's one of the most one of the greatest stars in the NBA, most down to earth, philanthropy, like outstanding philanthropy in the Miami area.
Oh yeah,
and across the
sure.
country.
Yeah.
Who else to learn from than Dwayne Wade?
Right.
I mean, that is just.
And Wade already had a championship under his belt by the time James got there. So yeah, there's a lot of things that were
now.
going
LeBron
on.
James is starting his own story. He's separated from the three great players, and now he's going to go mentor and lead his own team. He's going to be the only leader.
Yeah, I mean, him and Kyrie, and if they happen to get Kevin Love, that is unstoppable.
ESPN is saying the Kevin Love thing's almost in the bag, but
is it really?
We'll see how that goes.
Of course, that's ESPN and Chris Broussard reporting.
Now we can only listen to SportsIllustrated.com because no one wants.
Yeah, I mean,
to talk
hats
to
off to
ESPN.
Sports Illustrated for breaking that story. And
they
having
didn't break
true.
it. LeBron wrote it himself.
Right. Yeah, he wrote it, on his... Yeah, he wrote a letter or something?
And then he sent it to them.
Right.
And
yeah.
Kudos for you changing how,
Yeah, I'm glad he sent it to Sports Illustrated and not ESPN.
Because ESPN...
Could you imagine?
Oh, my gosh.
ESPN would be like, we won, we got it!
Around the Horn, PTI, every single show on the block would be talking about this.
Yeah.
I bet they are right now.
Oh yeah, well they
didn't break the story, and they're 2 hours late posting it on their website.
Yeah, so they're a little late with everything.
I guarantee you, it was on sports. That's all they're talking about, and then they have the experts about how this is going to affect the league and blah blah blah.
Yep, and of course, Carmelo.
Still hasn't decided. History tells us he's going to go with the money and the Knicks.
Right,
so
right.
I would not check the news up on that and just in your mind say, "Oh, he's gone to the Knicks."
Yeah, I mean, I've already sort of come to terms with that he's coming to that he's going to go back to the Knicks. You have to go where the money is. Plus, you have Phil Jackson there now.
If he
who's
chose
trying to rebuild that
Chicago, you know how
organization.
big of a deal that would be.
It would be awesome. The only issue is Taj Gibson would most likely have to go, which isn't a big loss if you're gaining Carmelo Anthony, but it's also kind of a big loss when, as part of your pitch, you had, you can play with Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and Taj Gibson. So you sort of had those people in there. So that was definitely a big deal, I think, too. But, he ruled out the Lakers, which I thought was pretty amusing.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
It's sad that these days you're like, well, who wants to play with Kobe? That's
yeah, exactly.
And then the LA is like, oh man, we still have Kobe. Who would think that would have ever happened?
I never thought that would happen either.
And the guy needs to retire. I mean, Michael Jordan, he had issues with retiring too, but it's time.
Yeah, well, at least Kobe's been with the same team his whole career, unlike Jordan, who went from baseball, and then Washington Wizards.
He had issues with his dad dying because his dad wanted to be a baseball player.
Yeah, he sort of was trying to fulfill that dream and everything. But
then he tried to make his comeback, and
right.
I mean, he did really good. He took that team to places that team would have never gone without him. But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be really interesting if the Cavaliers do win the championship, either next year or the year after. Because I know that they'll win one in the next, 2 to 3 years, no doubt. It's going to be, at least they should, and they're expected to. But it'll be really interesting because they haven't had a championship. I mean, when the Cavaliers were good back in the late 80s, early 90s, the team that was better than them was the Bulls, and they always knocked them out of the playoffs. Michael Jordan always knocked them out. Now, and then when the Cavaliers got LeBron James, they started to get good. They made it to one finals and got swept by the San Antonio Spurs. So I mean, that's pretty interesting. And they also, lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Celtics. They've lost a lot of times to some other teams too, and just sort of weren't expecting what happened. But they definitely need a championship in Cleveland. I mean, whether it be the Browns, the Indians, or the
I can't
or the Cavaliers.
Picture Johnny Manziel taking that team anywhere other than the TMZ headlines.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's Johnny Manziel's just not a good person. Not saying that he can't win games, but let's see how he does his first season before we worship him as a good player.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, There's some other stuff going on too, like in hockey. Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane have both signed those extensions. I'm not sure exactly what the number was, but they're 8-year extensions, so they're going to be with the Blackhawks until 2022 at least.
Yeah. And real quick, let's talk about the Cubs.
Yes.
This is a baseball
Yeah, we got to
show
talk
at the
about
moment.
Alcantara.
Alcantara. Is he going to tear people up? Is he going to stay in? Because they're saying that as soon as Darwin Barney comes back, they're putting him in center field. Who's our center fielder right now? Olt?
No, well,
Lake?
Before Emilio Bonifacio got hurt, it was Emilio Bonifacio. Now your outfield consists of Lake in left, Sweeney/Coughlin in center, and Coughlin/Shearholtz in right. So they still have a logjam of outfielders, which is fine. You're rebuilding, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. But, Alcantara could definitely be in the outfield. And they're saying that he'll be moved to center field for tomorrow?
Yes. Saturday he's going to be moved to center field. He's
Okay.
only played that position 11 times in minor league. Quick update on
gonna be
the
a big
Chicago
adjustment.
game. Chicago has a person on third in scoring position.
Okay.
Arietta's up. Not expecting much from Arrieta. but
Bunt
there's-
squeeze, here we go.
Yeah, there's zero outs.
Oh, perfect time for
So,
bunt squeeze. So did somebody get a triple?
Ort walked. I believe someone did get a triple.
Wow. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see if they can score a run off
Oh
of Alex Wood.
Coughlin doubled the deep center and then stole third.
Oh, hey, I like Coughlin.
Yeah.
He's been doing really well
He has
lately,
been doing
too.
really good. He's a good pickup in our league right now, actually.
Yeah, and he I think he was the 2007 or 2008 Rookie of the Year for the Florida Marlins, something like that.
Back when they were the Florida Marlins.
Yeah, back when they were the Florida Marlins, not the Miami Marlins. And they've had some problems, but they've definitely started to get back into it, and they're and I mean, I like Chris Coughlin. I think he could be a good player. When the Cubs are really competing and really doing good, he's definitely a guy I would like to keep on the bench. He's probably not going to be a starter, but he's a good guy to play, once a week or come in as a pinch hitter. I think he could do very well in that role. I think he can succeed in that role.
You have both pitchers in this game, just letting you know.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of pitchers going today, actually. I think all my pitching spots are filled
You have 6.
up. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they're all filled up.
But
yeah, so.
Cubs also trading away 2 of their best pitchers. As you heard, Samardzij's now with Oakland. And they
Yep.
also traded off Jason Hamill.
Yeah, they traded Hamill and Samardzija for a couple prospects, a first or second round pick in next year's draft, and, of course, Addison Russell, the highly touted shortstop, who apparently, according to the Oakland A's manager, Billy Beane, says that this Addison Russell kid is drawing comparisons to the likes of Barry Larkin, which would be really good if this guy ended up being like Barry Larkin. You'd have a Hall of Fame, second baseman, shortstop. The only issue is now you have 3 shortstops in Addison Russell, Starling Castro, and Javier Baez. So when the Cubs get good and they're looking to trade for that one piece that they need, that one hitter, that one pitcher that you need, you're going to probably end up trading, unfortunately, you're probably going to end up either trading Castro or Baez, because it doesn't look like Addison Russell's going anywhere. And if he continues to play well, the Cubs aren't going to get rid of him no matter what. But you might have to get rid of Castro, and hopefully you don't trade him in your own division.
Yeah.
And you might have to trade Baez. Or if Chris Bryant ends up being a bust or it doesn't work out for some reason, you could teach Castro Baez to play third. That's also a possibility. You could move one of them into a corner, either in left or right, because
Squeeze was successful, by the way.
Good.
Arrieta sacrificed to first. Coughlin scores. Olt is in second. And guess who's up?
Arrieta's doing everything.
Yep,
He's our guy.
He is. Alcantara is up right now. So
Time for a 3-run homer, right?
Yeah, really, that'd be great. We are running out of time, though.
Yes.
I would love to talk for another 2 hours about the Cubs.
I would too. It gets exciting, and it's going to be even more exciting next year.
Especially when the Cubs start winning like
Yes.
they have been lately.
Yeah,
the last
and-
10 games have been kind of messed up because the whole trading issues. We got rid of 2 of our fantastic pitchers in our lineup. So
Yeah. Well, this has been Fantasy Fanatics. We'll talk to you next Friday, same time. I'm Ryan Stuppridge.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
We'll see you next week.